So good day everyone. For today's video, I'm gonna discuss the handwriting analysis and their characteristics and form. Sorry for my voice because I have a fever. So this is my content: introduction, document expert, history of handwriting, individuality of handwriting, factor that influence handwriting, general characteristics of handwriting form, and classes and type of handwriting. So this introduction, it entails thorough comparison of a question document and known handwriting of a suspect writer, specific habits, traits, and individualities of the question document and the known specimen, or compared and contrast. The primary purpose of handwriting analysis is to look for difference between two writing samples where the writer is known and is unknown in another example. So, the document analysis is a broad area in the field of forensics. Is the examination and comparison of a question document with known materials. So, expert establish the authenticity of the documents and detect any changes, erasures, or obliteration that may have occurred. A question document is defined as any signature, handwriting, typewriting, or other mark whose origin or authenticity is under question. Example of these are the checks, certificates, wills, passports, license, money, contracts, suicide notes, receipt, and even lottery are some question documents of the interest. So, document expert. A document specialist is a properly trained individual who analyzes handwriting and other aspects of a document scientifically. Investigator examine and compare numerous characteristics such as the look of letter of suspicious papers with known samples in order to identify the document's author. So the document expert is the different from a graphologist. This is the one who studies the personality of the writer based on handwriting samples. The history of handwriting. In the 1930s, handwriting analysis was crucial in the prosecution of Bruno Richard Hauptmann, who was charged with the kidnapping of famous aviator Charles Lindbergh. So every person's handwriting, like their fingerprints, is unique and individualized. So the courts have not always accepted handwriting analysis as an acceptable form of evidence until 1999, when the U.S. Court of Appeals determined the handwriting analysis qualified as a form of expert testimony. The individuality of handwriting. The study of handwritten papers with the goal of determining the writer has a significant impact of the criminal justice system. Throughout the years, numerous trials have dealt with evidence presented by handwritten papers such as wills and ransom notes. Handwriting has traditionally been thought to be personal, as indicated by the prominence of signatures in documents. Handwriting has traditionally been thought to be personal, as indicated by the prominence of signatures in documents. However, the uniqueness of handwriting in handwritten notes and papers has not been proven scientifically, and so its admissibility of a forensic evidence is in doubt. Handwriting recognition relies on deciphering the message sent, such as determining the town in a postal address, which is accomplished by averaging out the difference in different person handwriting. The task of building individuality, on the other hand, relies on determining those very disparities. Factor that influence handwriting. They have 7 or 6 maybe It is a speed, size, slant, spacing, pressure, and form. So the first one is speed. According to Amundsen, 1995, copying rates using handwriting are about 5 words per minute or WPM on average in the first grade, but by the conclusion of primary school at the 5th and 6th grade levels are about 10 to 12 WPM or words per minute. So the speed handwriting for an adult population age range 18 years to 60, the average speed of copying is 40 letters per minute, approximately 13 WPM, with a range from a minimum 26 to maximum of 113 letters per minute, approximately 5 to 20 WPM. So that's the speed. So comes to size. Most handwriting has body height of between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch. Any ascenders of and descenders that extend beyond the increase to total size. Remember that font size is determined by 72 points per inch. Therefore, you may be calculate font size accordingly. According to graphic, the size of someone's handwriting can determine the type of personality they have. People with small handwriting tend to be shy, studious, and meticulous, whereas outgoing people who love attention will have larger handwriting. So that's the size. Slant. In Western handwriting, slant is the most common angle of the downward stroke. Left-handed writing is frequently accompanied by a slant value more than 90 degrees. The pen is bent backward to the left. So slant in graphology, slant can refer to either upstroke and downstroke values. These strokes can be made in the upper, middle, lower, or any combination of those zones. Spacing. The gap between words, on the other hand, denotes something else. According to handwriting and graphology, vast spacing between words may indicate that you are emotionally detached, whilst words placed close together may indicate that you have chaotic inner life or a craving for togetherness. Spacing. Narrow letters tend to be a sign of a consciousness or self-control. According to handwriting in graphology, wide letters could exhibit a tendency towards ambitiousness and lack of inhibition. Handwriting in graphology explains that wide spaces between words could mean you're emotionally distant, and words placed close together could mean you have a chaotic inner life or need of closeness. Pressure. The amount of pressure you apply to your handwriting indicates the depth of your emotion and feelings. The greater the pressure, the more enduring the feelings, and the more intense the emotional intensity. If your handwriting is in heavy pressure, you are good with commitment and taking things seriously. If the pressure is excessively heavy, you tend to be uptight and can react quickly to criticism. And your handwriting is in light pressure, you are sensitive and show empathy to people, but you also have a lack of vitality. So the last one, form. Curves, slants, the proportionate size of letters, or the ratio between the size of short and tall letters, as well as the height and the width of a single letter. The slope of writing and the use of appearance of connecting lines or links between characters are example of this. If a person may form a letter differently depending on where the letter falls in a word, beginning, in the middle, or in the end. So an analysis will try to find example of each letter in each placement. So that's the factors influence handwriting. Handwriting examination. Because of the prevalence and importance of handwriting in every communication, handwriting examination is an important part of forensic document examination. Typically, handwriting examination entails comparing non-specimen to handwriting evidence discovered on questioned or disputed papers. It lends itself to a wide range of analysis, from determining the suspect who could have written ransom notes to establish the authenticity of documents. A forensic document examiner can play an important role on helping to resolve disputes or solve crimes through the examination of handwriting evidence. So that's the handwriting examination. The general characteristic of handwriting form. All type of evidence in general have class or individual features. Class features are not unique to a specific object but rather position that piece of evidence in a group of things. So the first one is overall form. It contains the overall observed qualities of the handwriting, such as letter shape, slant, strokes, and size. The letter slants can be to the right, to the left, or straight or mixed. The stroke can be continuous or discontinuous or no stroke at all. The shape of letters can be deformed, perfect, or mix of both. The size of letters can be big or small or a mix of both. So that's the overall form. The margins and format. The space left between lines written from the left and the right margins might be constant or inconsistent. A preliminary investigation plainly demonstrates this. So margins and format. A narrow right margins indicate a person who has a risk-taking attitude and it is ready to face challenges that the future has in store. People with narrow right margin are social and can also get aggressive to defend themselves. The third one is line equality. It shows how your handwriting looks in overall manner. The appearance of your handwriting is our line quality. In line quality, it is the thickness, strength, and flow of the letters. Some factors are if the letters are flowing, shaky, or very thick. Height, width, and size of the letters is very self-explanatory. This simply analyzes the proportions of handwriting. So the fourth one is line features. It includes the speed of handwriting, pressure applied, letters and word spacing, and connection of letters. So in line features, the pressure applied by our fingers while writing can be high, low, or in the middle of both. The high pressure causes indentation. The spacing between letters and words can be consistent or inconsistent. Fifth is the pen lift. It refers to the movement of the handwriting tool while writing on a paper. Unusual pen lift can be found in a counterfeit document. It is the way the person writes. People usually use the same pen lifts, and so a forgery may stand out if all the letters are separated when the real signatures connects them. So the last one, the last one of my content is Classes and types of handwriting. Class characteristics are physical evidence, features that can only be associated with a group and never with a single source. If evidence is found to have class characteristics, it may be used to minimize the number of suspects, but it cannot be directly linked to a single person or source. So the finger hand movement. The thumb, the first, the second, and slightly the third finger are in actual motion. It holds the pen with your thumb, index finger, middle finger, or sometimes ring finger, and the motion comes from these fingers. The hands rest in air, and inferior equality of handwriting is produced. So that's the finger hand movement. The second is wrist movement. Motion comes from the wrist as it rests on the writing surface. So the wrist movement, when you're writing, maintain proper hand and arm position. Use your wrist and forearm to move your pen rather than your fingers. You move your entire forearm while you're writing. Your hand should float over the paper. So the last part of my presentation is the forearm movement. Arm of the writer rests on the writing surface and action comes from the elbow. Elbow movement used to position and move the hand on the paper of writing, as well as for drawing medium and long lines and curves. The last is the shoulder movement. Motions come from shoulder, mostly detached way of writing. Whole arm writing is used to write on a large surface. It is a combination of a shoulder and elbow movement, used to position and move the hand on a paper of writing for a drawing medium and long lines and curves. So that's all. Thank you.